So yeah, well, let's get straight onto the news, guys, because more news came out about Ubisoft, and I'm not sure. Oh, I've got to make sure I move over a little bit. There we go. Let's move about here, so we're looking a bit better. I can actually twist my screen. What am I talking about? Yeah, this is nice OLED. We have to give this a read because it's coming to the point now with Ubisoft. We all know how bad it's got for Ubisoft, and before we go on, let's just go on to what their stock was like, and this is what you can kind of expect. This is basically so. This is what? No, this is a 5 years. Let's go max, because guys, this is absolutely. Let's just have a look, because listen, I know we always go on about how bad Ubisoft is, but there was a time with Ubisoft, guys, that they actually made incredible games, and I loved their games, and we're going to go on about it because this is getting to the point where it is just crazy. So you look at literally their highest point was around 2018, and I do believe Assassin's Creed Valhalla was literally... Gino, what is up, my friend? How are you? Assassin's Creed Valhalla made them $1 billion or pounds, or $1 billion. It made over $1 billion. I think it was $1 billion. Obviously, took into consideration, I do believe, the lockdowns, gaming. I think the whole gaming industry went completely mental during lockdowns, thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to invest millions into gaming, when not to mention that loads of people are at home. I put in over 100 hours of Valhalla. It was the first game after like Astro's Playroom. I believe it was the first PS5 game I played on my PS5. And I put in, and listen, I loved it until I got really, really fatigued. But it's sad to see where they have become. You've got games like Star Wars Outlaws. It's just, it took a spike in 2019, I do believe, throughout that lockdown, especially with the release around, wasn't it 2020, with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And that was during that. So you had that drop there, and then all of a sudden, that was around October, and then it just continues to plummet. And yeah, there was a time I loved. Basically, they couldn't do any wrong, Ubisoft. Wrong one. But this is where we've got to. So the shareholders are considering a buyout now. So Ubisoft's tumultuous, I've forgotten how to say that word. Basically, their year is getting worse. Word of a potential buyout is starting to spread again as the publishers struggle to right itself following a series of poor decisions, layoffs, and general mismanagement. So, back in October, it was reported that shareholders, including Chinese Tencent, were weighing up a buyout and turning the publisher private. This is basically a reoccurrence of that story, although it sounds like talks between shareholders and Ubisoft's bigwigs are more advanced. So it looks like something has to happen now, and I do believe that. And I don't think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to help. Two anonymous sources have told Reuters that the Guillemot family, the company's largest shareholder, with co-founder Yves Guillemot still serving as CEO. Gosh, my gosh, how is he still CEO? Well, he controls it. I can do no wrong. I shall not step down. Wishes to retain control of the business, while other shareholders like Tencent buy the publisher out of its current financial woes. So this is crazy. So you're speaking about how he doesn't mind kind of being bought out, but he still wants to be CEO. And I don't know about you guys, but what company will be like, listen, help us out, buy us out, but I still want to be CEO? You've continued to plummet the flipping company. We don't want you. So, however, it said that Tencent hasn't committed to anything yet because it's trying to negotiate a greater degree of control over Ubisoft as a whole. It's speculated that the Chinese giant is simply biding its time. There could soon come a point where other parties attempt a hostile takeover of Ubisoft, and the publisher will have little choice but to agree terms with Tencent and its surrounding shareholders. Listen, what I get from that is that CEO is delusional. And all I can think of... Let's move this back a bit. All I can think of is that Tencent are being like, you know what? The company's getting worse. It's getting worse. Assassin's Creed Shadows is not going to save you. We'll just wait. We'll wait till that game comes out. If it flops financially, we're going to take a hostile to, you've got no choice but to accept our offers. And that sounds like what's happening. And there is a time that they could do no wrong. No wrong. Listen, I know everyone goes on about Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I loved Immortals Phoenix Rising, Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to think of other Ubisoft. Like off the top of my head, I just can't think. You know, I love the Far Cry series. What other game? You guys can go on about how many other games and IPs they've got. I can't remember lately how many more games that they had. They've got so many. But listen, Prince of Persia, there's so many. I know Far Cry hasn't been good for a while. And Far Cry 6 was the first time I had played a Far Cry game in a while. And I just loved the shooting. It was, again, a typical Ubisoft game. But I still enjoyed it. I still like my coffee. Ghost Recon games. And it just is crazy. And you guys know about me. For me, Birdman, Avatar's Game of the Year. Stop with the jokes. See, I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Origins. Yes, they were like massive open worlds, but the problem is I just feel like they lacked creativity and everything they just thought, let's just rinse and repeat. And I think for me, what did it, my confidence, I think you could see, like Mirage I actually liked. It was an okay game. It was a bit of nostalgia for me. And it felt like, oh my gosh, like being in Baghdad, like the environment. It was okay. And it felt like a step in the right direction. And Valhalla wasn't even a bad game either. Like it just dragged on way too long. And I wouldn't mind playing, like even Valhalla, I was like, I want to play it again, a new game plus. And you can't do a new game plus. And it's like, I spent 100 hours to get all of these upgrades and you expect me to just play the game again. And you know what? With Ubisoft now, it looks like it's going to be a hostile takeover. I feel like next year, maybe in January. Like I'm thinking, you know, something's going to happen. I don't think Shadows is going to help. I think it's going to. I personally think it's not going to do well. Clearly, the whole of Japan basically don't want the game. Yeah, July Rome. I really liked Valhalla, and I liked, even though it was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I did expect it to be more about assassins, and it really wasn't. It felt like there was like 5% of the story was about assassins, especially in the DLC. What was it? What was the first DLC for Valhalla? Where they actually, you know, he was doing a bit more investigating about the assassins. The Redder quest was so annoying, man. I mean, I still did some of it. I was like, man, I got a time limit. But I really enjoyed it, and I really liked that. Like was it Ravensthorpe? I love the way you can build your own kind of, you know, not town, but you know, your base with and you can upgrade. I really loved it. Wrath of the Druids, that was it. Don't know why there's a thumbs up. I don't even know how you turn that off. But I think this is not the last time we're going to be talking about Ubisoft. So just to let you know in the comments, this isn't the last time we're going to be talking about Ubisoft. But I think the next time we talk about Ubisoft, they're on the verge of selling, or, you know, Shadows will come out next year and it's just gone to absolute crap. But yeah, let's finish off this. So neither the company has provided an official statement. A Ubisoft representative told, "We remain committed to making decisions in the best interest of all our stakeholders in this context. As we've already indicated, the company is also reviewing all strategic options." So they're in talks. It looks like they're in talks. And again, Ubisoft has been on a losing streak for quite a while. There were rumors that development pipeline is in tatters. Star Wars Outlaws releasing half-baked. Assassin's Creed Shadows delayed into 25, and just recently confirmed that the live shooter X Defiant. Oh my gosh, X Defiant! I forgot we just spoke about that the other day. You know what I think as well, guys, and you know, I think you know, and this is not just down to Ubisoft. I feel like to an extent, so many companies have sacked and got rid of loads of developers, and they've hired for like DEI. That's definitely a factor where they've just hired for DEI to hit a quota. And then they've had to outsource so much work anyway, or the work is not good enough. And that's the problem. Imagine you hire for checkboxes, and what do you get? You're like, my gosh, we need to outsource most of this work. even though they shouldn't really have this job. I don't know, but I think it's beyond repairing now with Ubisoft. We've said it. We've always had hope. We've always had hope with Ubisoft. Nothing. We've always been like, you never know, they might bring it back round, and it doesn't look like that.